New discoveries scientists can't explain. Will the Ark of the Covenant or Cleopatra's tomb ever be discovered? Some riddles might never have a solution. The birth rate of Jesus, the identity of Jack the Ripper, and the location of Cleopatra's tombs are just a few of the historical puzzles that may never be cleared up. Sometimes that's because an archaeological site has been destroyed or the pertinent excavated material has been lost. Other times, it's because it's doubtful that fresh evidence will emerge or the existing data isn't sufficiently clear to allow for scholarly consensus. These mysteries are all the more intriguing for not having any answers. So, let's have a look at new discoveries scientists can't explain. Ancient forest discovered in China's giant sinkhole. Sinkholes are nothing new to the people of Lai County in the Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region of South China. The 29 magnificent sinkholes and underground caverns in the region have been recognized as UNESCO World Heritage Sites. However, the one that was discovered by experts in early May 2022 was hiding a remarkable secret: a perfectly preserved old forest. On May 6, 2022, the Guangxi 702 Cave Expedition Club's founder Lingxin Chen and his team made their maiden descent within the vast Andes. They quickly arrived to stable land that they could walk on, but the party soon discovered they were far from the 630-foot depth of the pit. To get there, they had to spend many hours navigating through a thick forest of beautiful grapevines and trees that reached a height of 130 feet. According to Chen, the surroundings were reminiscent of a scene from the film Avatar. The tree vines were entangling us like spider webs, and you have no idea how deep your next step was going to be, he says. The plants were so brittle that you could pull them down with your hands, but they would recover just as quick. When we came back up, the path was hidden again. Since then, the experts have visited the sinkhole several times and given it the name the Eagle. 3 caverns that have caved in on themselves, a small underground lake, and traces on an old underground river have all been discovered. Chen says, "I wouldn't be surprised to know that there are species found in these caves that have never been reported or described by science until now." These massive sinkholes are known in Mandarin as Tiankang, which translates to heavenly pit, and is a typical feature of karstic landscape. Carbonate rocks like limestone and dolomite make up the majority of the landscapes found in nature. Small fractures and tunnels begin to emerge in the rock structure as a result of a chemical reaction that occurs when rainfall contacts the rocks. These gaps eventually enlarge from erosion over time and fall in on themselves, creating enormous sinkholes or caverns. The sinkholes, which have not been altered by human activity, can be a haven for life, especially for species that have not been discovered before. Massive chasms also serve as access points to aquifers, which are subsurface water storage facilities. The principal source of water for more than 700 million people globally is karst aquifers. Unusual yellow brick road in the Pacific. One of the major marine conservation areas, deep-sea explorations uncovered an unsettling underwater site. The Ocean Exploration Trust researchers were leading the expedition when they discovered what seemed to be a paved road. Researchers who witnessed the unsettling scene referred to the paved section as the Yellow Brick Road and the way to Atlantis, and the Nautilus exploration vessel discovered it. According to the Nautilus website, the boat was at the time of discovery stooping around Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument, PMNM off the Hawaiian Islands. PMNM, which spans 15 lakh square kilometers and includes the northwestern Hawaiian Islands, is a World Heritage Site. This never-before-seen site was discovered by researchers as Nautilus was traversing the Liliuokalani Ridge. The EV Nautilus recorded the moment it discovered the structure that resembled a paved road. It does not lead to the fabled city of Atlantis, though. It is actually just an example of ancient active volcanic geology, as Nautilus' YouTube website noted. Surprisingly, given that it is submerged, the vessel reached a surface that appeared to be dry at a depth of roughly 1,000 meters. "This is bizarre," said one scientist. "It's like a brick." "This is weird," another scientist is heard saying in the video. This discovery was made at the Nootka Seamount, a place for shallow research with assistance from Nautilus. Within the PMNM, there are several contained locations where the depths exceed 3,000 meters. Only 3% of the PMNM's enormous territory has been examined as of this time. Since April, Nautilus has been investigating this region and its surroundings. The nicest thing about these expeditions is that anyone with access to the internet can watch them live. Not only scholars. The Ocean Exploration Trust seeks to explore depths never before reached by humans and to uncover the Earth's hidden geology. Plain of Jars. The central plain of the Xiangquang Plateau in Laos is covered in thousands of enormous stone jars that were erected on hills during the late Iron Age of Southeast Asia, which is dated to between 500 BC and 500 AD. This area is known as the Plain of the Jars. The jars, according to a local Lao legend, were made by a race of giants after they achieved a significant military victory. The jars were used by the giants to manufacture and preserve Lao Hai, which is loosely equivalent to rice wine or rice beer. Each of the up to 120 jar sites have been found to feature stone jars that were either hewn from boulders to taken from the riverbeds or from adjacent quarries of sandstone, granite, conglomerate, limestone, or breccia. Up to 3-meter tall cylindrical jars, which may weigh up to 14 tons, feature a lip rim to support a lid. Since there aren't many examples of stone lids, it's likely that the jars' tops were made of something perishable. Some archaeologists contend that the jars served as prehistoric funeral vessels, which is supported by the discovery of human remains, burial items, and ceramics close to the jars. The purpose of the jars is still up for dispute. Another idea contends that the jars served as distillation vessels, into which a person would be placed and allowed to rot before being removed to permit cremation or the reburial of the skeleton remains. In the early phases of the burial rites, when the deceased soul is said to be gradually transitioning from the earthly to the spiritual realm, the corpse of the deceased is placed into an urn in accordance with modern funerary customs used by Thai, Cambodian, and Laotian monarchy. After the ritual decomposition, there is secondary burial and cremation. Nazca lines. The gigantic Nazca lines were created by prehistoric humans 2,000 years ago, and they're still standing today without any damage. No one has been able to completely interpret the significance of these lines. Consider flying into the high desert skies of southern Peru. You probably anticipate to witness the sameness and dullness of the rocks and beaches. But this area offers much more than that. Massive formations known as Nazca lines, which are visible from the air, are hidden in the country's landscape and have been a mystery for more than 2,000 years. In an area of Peru not far from the contemporary town of Nazca, and more than 200 miles southeast of Lima, the lines are found. There are almost 800 straight lines in all, 300 geometric shapes, and 70 biomorphic patterns of plants and animals. The biomorphs range in length from 50 to 1,200 feet, or as massive as the Empire State Building, while some straight lines are up to 30 miles long. The creatures and plants they most frequently depict are a spider, hummingbird, cactus plant, monkey, whale, a llama, duck, flower, tree, lizard, and dog. The sketch of a humanoid figure known as the astronaut with its hands and a few other mysterious images, however, is arguably the most peculiar. In order to make the figures visible in the area covered in the coating of iron oxide-coated pebbles, anthropologists theorize that the prehistoric humans fashioned the designs by excavating 12 to 15 inches of rock and going deep enough to uncover the light-colored sand beneath. They probably began with tiny scale figures and gradually gained their size. But what do these lines actually mean? Over 80 years have passed without a solution to this query. Then, if they existed for so long, why have they only been examined for the past 80 years? Well, when pilots flew over the lines with their aircraft in the 1930s, the lines were able to attract significant notice. Before that, nobody could make out the shapes from below and was aware of the enigma. Since the beginning of time, strange things have been happening constantly. The world is filled with secrets, some of which have been unanswered for thousands of years. From the whirling mummy dilemma to always lighting lamps. Because the discoveries appear to defy science and reason, they might never be fully understood. What do you think about these bizarre discoveries that even experts can't explain?